Get ready for the show, it's about to begin. Pro fan talk when we dive right in. Sports talk, hot takes, ain't nothing we lack. We the real fans, nothing holding us back. Mic check, 1, 2, y'all know the drill. We bringing the energy, we keep it real. From touchdowns on liquid air, on the slam dunks on the court. Every sport, every game, we holding down the fort. We breaking down the plays, dissecting the stats. Pro fan talk, we keeping it fat. Debating with passion, no filter, no doubt. We the voice of the fans, we scream and we shout.
Are we up? No, we're not up. Keep switching my microphone. What's going on, y'all? Happy Monday to you. Happy Dig Out Monday. Everybody on the East Coast. Y'all know we got mollywopped Sunday going into Monday. Me personally, we probably got anywhere between 14 and 16 inches of snow. If I'd have been thinking, I would have popped up some pictures that I took like around the yard. Tree fell through the backyard. Just crazy stuff, man. The snow was crazy, and we're not done. We're probably gonna have some more snow later on this week, and I believe there's another storm brewing up north that's coming down this way, so we might get hit again. So, but what's going on, good people? What's going on? Let me see if I can move you over just a little bit. Get back to the center plane. So what's happening, man? What's going on with everybody? Who in my chat already? Who's first out the limo tonight? Chris 3K, first out the limo. What it do? What's going on, big guy? Still wondering if this is diva behavior, asking for a friend. Absolutely. You know we're going to get into that, man. You know we're going to get into that. Yeah, you know, what's up, Ian? They're going to try to dissect every word, bro. It's going to be people still going to try to spin it. And make it fit their narrative. You know, they're gonna continue to move the goalposts, and at the end of the day, you know, if anybody got something foul to say about this, man, it's just like screw them. And I'm saying screw them just so I don't say F them. But the same sentiment remains, man. Because listen, y'all know I have said many times, like, listen, when you're dealing with somebody that's got mental issues, they got a specific way that they need to deal with things. And if that's how they need to deal with it for them to function and be okay upstairs, then that's what they got to deal with. The CTE thing is real. The stress of being a professional is real. Just the whole situation with Rondale Moore and Kyron Lacey, and everybody always says the same thing. Like, what happened? Why did they do it? I didn't know anything was wrong. Dude, you got the world ahead of you. You a professional football player. You got money. You got women. You got cars. You got the house. You got this, that, and the third. But listen, man, I say all the time, you never know what's going on in somebody else's house. You never know. This game will spit you out in ways that you can't even imagine, especially now. Because everybody's so strapped to the ego. The ego has killed so many men, it's not even funny, let alone black men. But just think about some of the situations that you've got into, some of the scraps you may have got into, or whatever type of bad situation you got in because of your ego. You look at what Stephon Diggs is going through right now because of his ego. So, at the end of the day, when you hear somebody talking earnestly, and of course, you already know that this ain't the first time that A.J. Brown has brought this up. Not the first time. He's been on this since he was in Tennessee. So he is consistent in that message. And people still want to attach a narrative to it because he's doing it how he wants to do it. He basically told y'all the last time when he called the radio unprompted, they were talking about him and what he was going to do and how things were going. Because remember that year they thought it was a schism in the locker room back then. He called the radio station unprompted and told them, like, why do y'all think I want to leave Philly? He told them. And they still want to try to make shit up and and it's like, from my perspective, it goes back to ego. And I'm saying that from the standpoint of everybody that's on the radio, on ESPN, everybody that got something to say. Because don't nobody want to be wrong. Everybody wants to lead the pack. What's up, Carlos? What's up, Eagles Girl 117? Everybody wants to lead the pack. And everybody wants to be the first person to tell you that you're wrong. And I did a little unintended experiment one time. And I say unintended because what happened was, I think this was a while ago, like well over a year ago. I put out a video and something was wrong in the video. And I made a mistake. I don't know I can't even remember what it was, but it was a clear mistake. And I ain't got no problem if I make a mistake. You guys know in the chat, if I say something wrong, let me know. Because I never claim to be the smartest person. So, and I'm not above being checked, especially if I say something wrong. But in any case, I did the video. Something was wrong in the video, and folks came out the woodwork to tell me I was wrong. That's not how, that's not how you should do it. Everybody got their idea of how things should be done. Be it in your workspace, be it on your team, your coach. Anybody like that. Everybody they want you to do it their way. They don't give a damn about how you feel about what you want to do. There was just a coach that got in trouble, a college basketball coach, because I guess he was admonishing somebody on his team to the point where people on the outside looking in accused him of bullying. And I was like, that must have been fierce, because I know how it is with a coach and a player relationship. And let me be honest with you, that's why I don't like the Broncos to this day. I ain't the biggest Russell Wilson fan, but what that Broncos coach did to Russell Wilson in that game, like talking down to him like he was a 15-year-old kid. And the only reason they do that is because they know they can get away with it with Russell Wilson. Because Russell Wilson, you already know Russell Wilson ain't about that smoke. That's just not in his personality. You don't deal with people, you deal with personality. That's why bullies always deal with somebody that they can get away with it. They always deal with somebody that's not going to fight back. And every now and then you find that person that either they don't know about or somebody gets fed up. So when you're talking about mental health and how people deal with things and how people navigate what's coming at them, I don't find it not fun. Funny is not the right word. I don't find it odd at all that all of a sudden AJ Brown is doing all of these conversations, all these podcasts, and all of this stuff, and he ain't talked to the media yet. That is, to me, that is not odd. That is planned, and that's the way he wants to do things, because that's saving his mental health. He could talk if he wanted to talk. Clearly, you've seen that. But he don't want to deal with the nonsense. So what do? You cut it off. They're mad. He ain't. They're pissed off. Oh, he can go on social media. He can say this. He can say that. He can go on a podcast in the Super Bowl, but he can't even talk to us in our own city. Man, get out of here. Y'all had y'all shot. And he was like, F that. Because he said it. He said, every time I say something, y'all going to take it and run with it and say what you want to say anyways. And basically what he was saying was, if that's the way you going to do it, if you going to get me anyways, then I'm going to make it worth my while. And the way I do that is I ain't saying nothing. Now, the bad part about that is you give somebody impunity to pretty much say whatever they want to say because you haven't talked. So they got to make it up. That's the bad part about it. But he's willing to live with that. There'll come a time where he gonna talk when he wants to talk. There's still a business to be run when the season's over. Because think about it like this: the season is over with. They lost that game against San Fran. Right then and there, when the clock hits zeros, the season is done. You don't owe the media nothing. It is not written in your contract that you have to talk to the media. And you know what? If he was supposed to talk and he didn't, and he got that NFL fine, he got it. What they gonna fine him? Couple $100, couple grand, whatever it is. He got it. Shit, it might be written in his contract that the Eagles pay for it. Who knows? But it's not something that he worried about. He ain't missing no meals. And at the end of the day, it protects his peace of mind. And that's the most important thing. Because you look at somebody like Rondale Moore, you look at somebody like Kyrie Lacey, and then you ask yourself, like, what was going on? Kyrie Lacey was at LSU. He was at LSU. What would make him go out like that? I don't know. What did he do? Did something happen? Clearly, it was something going on behind the scenes. You never know what's going on in somebody else's house, man. You never know. And these days, people just don't care. They don't. You hear stories about stuff like this all the time. Somebody went to jail. Somebody got in trouble. Somebody lost a scholarship. Hell, it happened to the dude. What was the dude in 2022 that 2 weeks before the Super Bowl, the girl from the college he went to brought up the essay case against him. So he ended up missing the Super Bowl. The Eagles was like, you got to handle this. He missed his trip, and then come to find out he was exonerated. They threw it out of court. But she did what she wanted to do. If I'm not going to get no money out of it, I'm going to ruin his opportunity to go to the Super Bowl. That's all that was about. That's all that was about. And these people out here playing games with folks' lives all the time. The NFL is not exempt. The MLB is not exempt. NBA is not exempt. There are people, I know for a fact there's people in the NBA. They know where to be. It was like this when I played in the 90s. And I know it's like this today because when I played, we didn't have social media. So you had to do your homework to figure out what club the players went to after games, and they knew what strip clubs you went to. They knew what bars you went to. They knew what drinks you liked. There's people that sniff around all of that. They get all of that information because they want to be in the limelight, and they will do anything to do it. Anything to do it. When I was in Scotland, we befriended, you know what? I'm not even going to say their name. We befriended, let me say it like this. We befriended somebody that was a part of the 1970 undefeated Dolphins. Was that 70 or 72? What year was that? Anyways, 1972 undefeated Dolphins, 14-0. I knew somebody that was a member of that team. Or I should say I played with their kid. And we met his parents, and we heard stories. And some of the stuff that you heard was just off the chain. Now, mind you, this is in the 70s. Computers weren't even a thing yet, let alone social media and phones, and that hadn't even happened yet. But people still want to be a part of the limelight. People still want a piece of that fame, to the point where that Dolphins team was so well known. I was told that they like women would break into the players' cars and fall asleep in the back seat with no clothes on. Stuff like that. Knocking on doors, leaving babies, claiming that this person was the father of the baby. Like off the wall, like stuff that if you saw it on a television show, you wouldn't believe it. You'd be like, that don't even make sense. Ain't nobody gonna do that shit. It happened. It happened. So when I saw AJ Brown, and I think it was shout out to Anthony DeBona, because I saw his tweet and it says, everybody, you need to give AJ Brown 9 minutes and listen to this. And I listened to it. I was like, yo, he's dropping knowledge, man. That's what it's about. That's what it's about. Screw the nonsense. Like, keep it real. He didn't have to talk, but he did. And it's no stretch that that's what he wanted to speak about. Uh-oh. Let me see. Where's my oh, here we go. My bad. Can I blow this up? Yeah, there we go. There we go. There we go. I just want to get y'all to, I want to do the split screen. Yeah. So like, yeah, it's like he got right into it, man. And I know like things like this happen every year. And don't think as somebody that has been through the things that he has been through, there's more situations like this than we know about. And I would imagine that stuff like that, he is like in the mix, trying to figure out what happens because, you know, talk to everybody. And I can't, whenever you see a situation, right? One of the things you do is you ask, why would somebody do that? Hold on for a second. Let me pause it right there because I'm seeing the text and I'm seeing the chat text. It's hard to see. But when things happen, why that's the biggest question. Why would you do that? Why would they do that? And then you got to think of the realization of somebody had to go through the process, get past the point, and go against your nature. You know how hard it is to go against your nature and take your life? We are built to protect ourselves. Self-preservation is the first law of nature. So when you can break that first law and hurt yourself, that is a powerful thing. And I don't think people, I guess just in this day and age, people don't take it seriously. People don't take it seriously. And there's so many ways and so many opportunities to, like AJ was saying, why don't you get help? Why don't you talk to somebody? Like if you're going through something, talk with somebody, get with somebody, talk with somebody. But the thing is, if it was that easy, everybody would do it. So, I mean, it's kind of crazy how like something like this will bring it all around full circle, and it gives everybody a reality check. It gives everybody a reality check because you know, everybody likes to say this, and I hate it when they say it. Like they want to minimize what we do. You play a game. You out there on the field, you playing a game. That's all. You playing a game for a lot of money. Like, but what they fail to realize is, do you understand how much that game brings people enjoyment, brings people together, brings camaraderie, strengthens relationships, creates bonds between a father and a son, or a father and a daughter, or a mother and a son, and a mother and a daughter. Like, do you know how people bond through sports? Like, do you know how powerful that is? Like, a boy grows up watching his father cheer for the Cincinnati Reds. So when that boy grows up, he's going to be a Reds fan. So it's that's the stuff that people don't take into consideration. They always want to look at the bad stuff. Like, there's a lot of good that comes from it. And it is an awesome responsibility, especially in this day and age, because you got all of these hiccups and all of these people coming at you. You got people that want to take you down. You got people that want to take your money. You got people that want to try to have a baby with you. They want to try to ruin your life. You got people that want to try to kill you for no reason. It is crazy out there. Folks is nuts. Folks is losing their ever-loving mind. Common sense has gone, folks. Common sense is gone. The minute the government started telling folks that it was not okay to discipline your child and your children, that's when shit started getting bad. Because now there's no bar. You hope they act right. And in this day and age, it's too wide open. Kids have access to too many things that can go wrong. And there's no way you can't put that toothpaste back in the tube. And this is some of the stuff that you get. You got parents fighting at games. Can you imagine? You got parents fighting at games, and you get kids crying on the court or on the mat because their parents is acting a fool, and they just want to get through their little league game or complete their first wrestling match. Crazy stuff, man. Crazy stuff. So, yeah, Tip, at the end of the day, we all human, but we also have responsibilities too. So I always say, when like something, if you're looking at a situation and you say, you can't do that. And I always look at this situation like, no, you shouldn't do that. You can do it, but you shouldn't do it. But if they do, now what? That's the question. When you come across these situations, now what? Now what happens to Kyron Lacey and his family? Now what happens to Rondell Moore and his family? Do people even understand what family means anymore? It's crazy. It's crazy, crazy, crazy. I'm gonna drop the mic in a minute, man. I don't want to get too deep on you. But just some thoughts, man, because y'all know how I feel about AJ Brown. I was like, I don't want AJ Brown to go nowhere. And I'm one of the first ones to say, like, when you got people with his history, pay attention. Pay attention to what he says and what he does. There is a reason for it. And if everybody gets bent out of shape because he was reading the book that inspires him on the sideline during the game, like, what you want him to do? Call the defense? He was reading the book when the defense was on the field. What's the problem? What's the problem? If y'all could hear some of the conversations that happen on the sideline, if you think that everybody is all tuned in and all, some man, they'd be back there cracking jokes, looking at the girls in the crowd, all kind of stuff, man. So, for people to get that bent out of shape because he was reading the book. And then, you know what? There's a purpose in everything, because what ended up happening, he ends up reading the book. Everybody bitched about that. Then they figured out it was no big deal. And in the midst of all of that, the dude that wrote the book, his sales go through the roof. Maybe he needed that. Maybe that was a blessing for that dude that wrote the book. Maybe he was struggling with something. That's the way God works sometimes. And nobody will see it. And I kept saying this all the time when everybody want to say that he was a problem and wanted to get rid of and all that kind of stuff. And I was like, listen, man, they don't just give out that captaincy to any old body. They don't do that. They don't give a captaincy to somebody they can't stand. They don't give a captaincy to somebody that can't relate to other people on the team, or doesn't care for everybody on the team, or that's a diva, or that thinks they're better, or they don't give the captaincy to them people. So you got to usually. I come from an era where you were voted the captain. The players had to respect you enough to want to see you walk out of there and call it a toss. Because if it wasn't important, they would let anybody do it. But it is important. It is important to have that C on your chest. The only thing wrong in the NFL right now is that if you are a quarterback, if you are a QB, you automatically get that C on your chest. It seems like, but that shouldn't be the case. But people gonna do what they want to do. So I just thought I listened to. If you haven't listened to his conversation, listen to it. It's deep, and you got to look at it. You got to always take his perspective and the things that he has been through. Because he goes now. One thing I didn't realize, I knew he did the. I knew he had the press conference in Tennessee where the young lady, the young female reporter, asked him about his suicide issues, and she could barely get the question out because she was in tears. So obviously that was something that she is either involved in, dealt with, she has some type of connection to, because her reaction was very emotional, to the point where he couldn't even answer the question. Almost, he had to wait till she, got it together, and he did because he understood it. That never goes away. That never goes away. And I think people here in Philly, they just forget that stuff. And it's a shame because everybody wants to put that narrative. They want that gotcha moment. That's what they want. They want that gotcha moment where they pin AJ Brown to the wall and they ask him some tough questions, and it's like, well, what's your purpose? Like, what is asking the tough questions going to help him play better on Sunday? Nah. Now, if you could throw a 20-yard out so he can practice his routes, well, maybe then you might have something, but you can't. You're just trying to glean some information from 30 seconds of a much longer conversation. So, but that's the era we in. Everybody want to play. Everybody want to say something. How did I say that? Oh, everybody want to have something to say so they can say they had something to say. Nobody's genuinely interested in AJ Brown or how he's feeling. Not a lot of these yahoos. Now, I will say, even though sometimes it doesn't seem like it, ex-players always look out for ex-players. Doesn't matter if it's Seth, because I know Seth has said some stuff about AJ I didn't necessarily agree with, but that's his opinion. But at the end of the day, all players want the best for other players, regardless of how it sounds or how it comes out. Now, sometimes that message gets very, very skewed, as we see with some of the stuff that Acho and Shady and all them guys saying. But are they saying it so they can boost themselves up? Here we go, talking about that ego again. Not that Shady McCoy has an ego. Why would you think that? But some of the stuff people are saying on these podcasts, and it's like, bruh, what happened to keep family business in the family? What? And there's nothing to be gained or lost by what you say. Like what's the point? What are you gaining from it? I don't know. Everybody's in a different space now. I'm so glad. Because I think about this a lot. I'll share this with you. I think about this a lot because I'm doing this YouTube thing. I'm on this YouTube journey. I'm being successful at it, and then I see other people and what they do, and maybe I should do that. I don't know if y'all remember. Remember when it was last season. I would do. I was making videos about the Eagles, and one of the things I try to do, because I know I got those little idiosyncrasies when I'm talking. and you try to figure out how to get rid of the ums and the pauses and the buts and the stutters and things of that nature. And one of the things that I do is I say but a lot. So what I started doing was in my videos, whenever I would say but, there would be a flash of a picture like of a girl's butt in a bikini or something like that. And I thought it was funny. And then I was like, I can see somebody could take that the wrong way. So I don't do it no more. I got more views and stuff like that, but I was like, people can take that the wrong way. Or you could be one of those guys that, they can talk about anything and there'll always be somebody in a string bikini with double D's or something like that. Because at the end of the day, let's keep it 100. Sex still sells. That hasn't changed. Sex sells. So, like I think about stuff like that, especially now, like when I bring on my little my granddaughter was on with me, Jalen was on with me one time, and of course, every chance I get, my little great grandson Roman, um, he'll be on with me every chance I get. Anytime he come over, we record because I want that to be on, because YouTube is like when I was growing up, we got to get that on tape. Now, put it on YouTube, put it on the web, and it lives forever, right? I got tapes now in my closet that I haven't watched in decades. They're degrading. Some of the stuff from when I was playing with the Eagles, all of that kind of stuff. That's on a physical media that's degrading over time. So once it's gone, it's gone. But I can put memories together with my great grandson that he'll always think about. I got a thing with my granddaughter. Every time I see her, she already knows. I look at her like, "Where's my selfie?" Every time, because these days, what we used to say, part of our song as Alpha Phi Alpha, we would say, "College days swiftly pass, imbued with memories fond, but the recollection slowly fades away." So I think about stuff like I think about when I played. Matter of fact, I wish I could find. Hold on, I'm gonna show y'all this picture. My boy sent me this. Unprompted, sight unseen. My boy Vaughn Hebron. Me and Vaughn Hebron, we were rookies together. The thing about me and Vaughn was we were both rookie free agents with the Eagles in 1993 at the same position, and we both made the team. That never happens. And we've been friends to this day. We're not as tight as we used to be because he's got his family. I got my family, but every now and then we touch base. Every time we see each other, it's always love and hugs. But he sent me a picture. I want to share this picture with y'all. Just like, let me see. It was me, him, and Randall Cunningham. I don't know where we were. It had to be some type of party because I saw balloons and stuff in the background. Let me see. All right. Let me see. We got that. Save. Yeah, I already did that. Hold on. What I'm gonna try to do is I'm gonna post it on Twitter so I can show it to you. Post it on my account. Nope. Nope. Dang it. Now I gotta find it. Oh, there we go. Bam. I'm gonna just put me, Vaughn, and Randall Cunningham. Fly, Eagles, fly. But like I remember this, and like some of the stuff that we went through, because our rookie experience wasn't the best, and and I say that because there were people that had it out for us. It is a cutthroat business. Here we go. Here we go. That's me. Obviously, that's me right there. I think I'm rocking a Eastern Kentucky hat because I see the maroon and white. So I think that's an Eastern Kentucky hat. Obviously, that's Vaughn and that's RC. And like I said, we must be at somebody's party or something because I see the balloons and the stuff in the background. So I don't I don't know what this was from, but we were there. All the places we went with going to parties. I remember going to a Halloween party at Heath Sherman's place, and we went there. I almost got in a car wreck, but just different things back in the day, man. But it was cool back there, man, because you was trying to do your thing, and everybody is not in your corner. Everybody is not in your corner. We had guys that, and this goes back to the mental health thing, right? We had a guy on the squad. He was a legacy player, meaning that he had some people in his family that played in the league, so we called them legacies. And they used to appear that guys like that would have a leg up, would have they get a little bit more attention than everybody else. This dude had it, and he was good. He was good. And one day we looking around and we catch his roommate like, "Yo, where's your boy? Where Fred at? How come he ain't it?" Yo, man, he wanted to go home in the middle of the night, snuck out, was missing his woman, left camp. And this is somebody that was balling. If we could have put money on it, we could have put money that this dude was going to make the squad because he was having that good of a camp. And he just walked away from it. Why would you do that? You didn't play this game your whole life, and you are literally about to reach the pinnacle of everything that you dreamed of, and you walk away. Why would somebody do that? You never know what's going on in somebody's house. And we never found out. He was gone. So I think about stuff like this, man. Because it was a different time back then, man. Different time. So yeah, that's an old one. That's an old one. I probably got videos of me. I always got love for RC. I gotta reach out to RC. I would love to get him on my podcast. Randall hosted me. I was a rookie. Randall hosted me um that year, Thanksgiving and Christmas at his house because I'm from Cincinnati. So I can't go home for the holidays because we got games that week. So they would they would the vets would host some of the rookies. And Vaughn was from Baltimore, so he could go home and come back in an hour. You know what I'm saying? So um I'm from Cincinnati. I can't make that trip. You know what I mean? So Thanksgiving and Christmas, I was at Randall Cunningham's house. And we had a blast, man. I remember going up to I drove this is gonna sound funny. I drove up to Manhattan and I was up there with Randall. Uh his his wife now, Felicity, was she used to be a dancer and she knew the people from the I think it was like the dance theater of Harlem. So we went up there to watch a program and it was cool. And I drove into Manhattan. Scariest thing I've ever done in my life. And I'll never do it again. And funny as it sounds, I ain't been back to New York since. As long as I've been in South Jersey, all it is a train ride away. I ain't never been up there for New Year's, none of that. I went up there that one time. For that, we stayed, got up there, stayed the night, came back, and I ain't never been back. I was like, okay, seen New York, been there, done that, never do it again. I'm good. weird, weird stuff like that, man. But yeah, Mitch, mental health is real, man. Got to talk to people. I'm so glad. Like I got a twin sister. Me and my twin sister talk every day. Who was that asked me? Was it somebody in the chat was like, "Do you and your sister get like? Can you tell when she upset?" Like sometimes I can. Sometimes she'll call me like, "You good?" So yes, that's happened before. But I say that because technically my my twin is we tight. We were super tight in high school. My dad arranged that. My dad wasn't playing. So my dad made me and my sister super tight. Where I went, she went. Where she went, I went. We went to the clubs together. We everything. Everybody wanted to roll with us. We rolled together. Her friends was my friends. My friends was her friends. That's just the way we did it. We rolled through. My mom had a big ass Aerostar back in the day, and we would be riding 9 deep in that joker. And everybody wanted to ride with us because we was, they know we didn't do nothing stupid. So everybody knew my parents, and we was gonna get home. So we was the safe bet. Jay Scroggins, I hope you seen my comments, AJ Brown. I hope you're talking to AJ. I hope you seen your comments too. I hope they're positive. So, thank you, Tiff. Glad you liked that picture. That was an old one. He shocked me with that one. He must have been going through some stuff when he found that picture. I tell you what, man, that's the one thing I envy from this generation is that everything they do is in 4K, and we don't have that. They can just click right on their phone, and they got a memory forever. That's dope. So, but yeah, man, it's crazy. I'm ranting right now. Let me drop the link if anybody got something to say. It's don't sleep on this, man. It's the NFL is a nasty business. The NFL is a nasty business. They don't care about you. They don't care about your family. They don't care if you're the first person in your family to go to college and graduate. They don't care if by you being on the practice squad, you make more money than anybody in your family. Like stuff like that, especially for us, especially for black folks, especially some of the black folks coming from the South, and you hear stories like Shannon Sharp didn't take hot showers till he got to college. That's that sort of stuff. Like that stuff is real, and the olden days type stories are not as old as people think. So, but yeah, man, I I haven't been listening to sports radio in a couple of weeks. I've been all about the Olympics and everything. Did anybody hear anything about AJ's comments on WIP or 97.5? I did not, but I wasn't listening all day. So I don't know what people thought. So I don't know. What's up, Chris?
What it do, Coach? You got me?
Yeah, I got you.
Man, I just want to say, man, AJ's man, he hella strong for speaking out on that topic, man, the mental health thing. I think obviously even you, I mean, I'm pretty sure you went through it like as a player. I feel like and we saw it with a lot. I feel like the way a lot of the fans and fan base was kind of treating him. I think a lot of people try to dehumanize these athletes and think because y'all play a game or you guys are at a certain level of playing that, you guys aren't still human. Y'all go
Right,
through
absolutely.
things, and like you said it all year, even with him, when he was, people were reacting to his stuff. You kept saying all year, he's somebody who's dealt with mental things in the past. And
Yep.
maybe that was his outlet of doing it in maybe the most healthy way possible. Instead
For
of,
him.
for him. Yeah, for him.
Yep.
Instead of it could have been who knows as the alternative. So I think, yet again, I don't think now the funny part is I don't think this is going, I don't think WIP or all those other negative, networks, I don't think that'll what he posted today, I don't think that'll make news like all the other stuff will. But it just goes to show like, the type of person we pretty much have always known AJ Brown to be. But I think it's just unfortunate that one that what happened to the player that with what just happened over the weekend, that was unfortunate. But just AJ speaking out on it, I feel like is something that you kept alluding to all year. Like, mental health is real, and people, got to quit trying to box athletes in and say, well, just because you play a game, you basically should just be happy because you make a lot of money. You know what I'm saying? Like
it's deeper than that, man.
Yeah, it's way deeper than that. Like these guys, and I was having one of these conversations with my boys a few weeks ago. I was with him somewhere, and we talking about the AJ thing, and he was like, "Oh, I didn't like the way he read a book or all his other little stuff." I'm like, "Yo, he's human at the end of the day. Like he's still a human being. Like just because he's talented or he plays on our team that we like to watch, like he's still human, and he still has a way to express himself." And I'm like, if that is your biggest problem is him reading the book, I think you got more of a personal issue than it being AJ.
Right. And the funny thing is anybody that brings up what an issue is, I don't like the way he tweets. I don't like him reading the book. My question is always why? Why don't you like it? Why don't you like the tweets? Why don't you like him reading the book where he would normally be not paying attention because the defense is on the field, or maybe he wasn't looking at his tablet hard enough? Like, again, like y'all don't understand the conversations that be going on the sideline,
right?
When the other team is on the field. Like a lot of times they ain't paying attention,
right?
They got their mind elsewhere. So
yeah, and I think this is another topic that you spoke on, the Ryan Clark and Peter Schrager, that little back and forth they had earlier in the year. And I think there's a huge disconnect. And I'm not to the point where I believe that only guys that play sports should have opinions, because I've heard a lot of players have terrible opinions too. So I think there's a balance. But I do think there's a competitive aspect of sports that I just don't think some people are able to resonate with, maybe because I don't know if they didn't go through it to a certain extent. But there's like this huge thing where it's like you said, where they're like upset about him tweeting and they don't have a valid reason why. And it's like, I think a lot of fans feel like, well, because he plays on my team, his only obligation is to make me happy. And that's it. Like, he shouldn't do anything else.
Absolutely.
Yeah, he shouldn't do anything else that potentially doesn't fit making me happy, which is whether it's I don't think he should tweet or I don't think he should read a book. Like, he should do everything that abides by what I think is going to make me as a fan happy. And I'm like, newsflash, like at the end of the day, he's still a human, and this is a job still.
He got to do what works for him.
He got to do what works for him. And if that's reading a book, oh well. If that's tweeting something that's pretty harmless, oh well. But I just, after seeing the day, I'm like, it's dope to see that, him speak out on these things. But I hope if anything, this will get the same positive coverage as all those other stupid things that they tried to put out there, like reading the book and all that. Like, I hope they have the same energy for this that they do to other things.
Well, right now, I would say no news is good news.
Yep.
Because I didn't hear anything about it. I saw a couple people in the chat that say they didn't really address it. Okay. So they'll ignore it because that's a positive that they can talk about, but they don't, because ultimately it'll end up coming around and somebody will end up calling into the shows like, I don't care what he said. When he gets on somebody will try to spin it to the negative.
They'll spin it to the negative.
Guaranteed. And I feel bad because it's always somebody from Philly.
And that's the one part I am blessed about. I'm like, being
Appreciate
on the West Coast. I'm on the West Coast, so I don't hear as much of that Philly nonsense that I know you be hearing over there on the East Coast, and I'm kind of glad for that, because I just don't get all this negativity around him and everything. It's like he's at a point where everything he does, he damned if he do, damned if he don't.
Correct.
He went on a couple podcasts. I know the first one he went on, it was like Philly's my home, and people turned that into, well, he's just saying the right thing so his agent could get him out of there. And then he went on the other podcast.
That was on Micah Parsons' podcast.
Yeah, that was on Micah. Yeah. And then there was the other one last week when he was just trolling, and people were like, see, he can't help him. I'm like, well, at this point,
Patriots thing.
Yeah. So my question is, next year, when next year come around, if he don't want to talk to the media, y'all gonna be complaining about that too, right? Like, because he don't want to deal with that. So I'm like, I'm at a point where it's like, he's one of them guys where it's unfortunate. And like I said, I told you a few weeks ago, like, I think it stems from the whole T.O. thing. I think people got this thing way messed up when it comes to wide receivers and how they're perceived.
I agree.
He's already, I think, as some people and even the major networks in Philly, they've already painted him as this villain, which he's clearly not. And the thing that you said too that was hilarious to me, and I think about this on the day to day. I'm like, Do people actually think if AJ Brown is not in Philly hypothetically, do y'all think he's not a great football player? Like, y'all are crazy if y'all think that.
I don't understand what makes people. Why is it? And again, for me, it goes back to the ego thing. Why does it bother you so much that he tweeted or that he read a book? Because that's not what you would do.
Right.
But it's not for you.
Right.
It's for him. I used to have this argument with people all the time. When I would go in different situations or I would go on jobs, when I stopped playing football. And eventually somebody would find out that I used to play for the Eagles and I played pro ball and blah, 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 blah. And the first thing people would get in this conversation is like, well, what are you doing here? Working, nigga. Working. What you think I'm doing? Like, come on. But what I realized is they if you are a pro athlete, doesn't matter who you are, who you play for, they want to put you on a pedestal. But at the same time, every opportunity they got to bring you down to their level, they will do that.
Right.
And it's like, nah, I still know some things that you don't know. Also, you know some things that I don't know. And that's cool. But they want to take digs at you.
Absolutely.
So they don't want to talk as equals. They want to take digs at you and rip you to bring you down that way.
Yeah.
Because I would have people talk to me like, one of the first questions is always, and it was, I think about it now when it's real ignorant, but like, what happened to all your money? I was like, well, what are you talking about? Like, what? Oh man, if I had that money, ain't no way I would. Well, you don't know what you would do.
You don't know what you would do.
Because I tell you what, if you made that money, you wouldn't be driving around in that same Honda Accord.
No.
Stop playing with me.
You wouldn't.
How do you lose all of that money? Well, let me tell you, I know how they do it. I never had that much money, but I know how they do it. If you're making $5 million a year and you got this many cars and you got a house here and a house for your mama and a house for your brother, and then all of a sudden you break your leg and you get cut, the bills keep coming.
Yeah, they don't stop.
No, they don't stop. That's how people get in trouble. They live in like they're gonna play and continue to play, and if something happens, they're not ready for it. They're not prepared for it.
Yeah, I think it's 100% true what you're saying. I think there's a huge, and I don't know if it's jealousy, disdain, I don't know what it is, but I think there's a great amount of people that really, you said it a couple minutes ago, that they look at athletes and they say, well, you just play a game. You just shoot a ball. You just dribble a ball. You just catch a ball. What you do is not that important. And it's like, regardless of what you think, this person is elite at what they do. Elite. And for him to get to that level, that requires a whole lot of mental sacrifice, dedication, and all the stuff that you go through just being, like you said, being an NFL player where teams don't care about you and whatnot. And I think a lot of people envy that. And they feel like, well, because, you got to that level, then, if I was in your position, I would be doing much better than you because I'm smarter than you. And that's like, you don't know that.
That ain't got nothing to do with it, because you got to deal with politics.
Like,
you got to deal with nepotism. You got to deal with racism. You got to deal with colorism. You got to deal with people making mistakes.
Absolutely.
You got to deal with people trying to cut you, trying to do you wrong. Trying to listen. We had, I told you before, me and Vaughn were rookie free agents at the same position, and we both made the team.
Mm-hmm.
And the guys' positions, the guys' spots that we took, every chance they get, we rookies, we don't know the playbook. We asking for help. We ask the vets. I would ask Herschel Walker or something like that. Now, Herschel was great. Heath Sherman was great. James Joseph was great. But there was two other guys on that team. You asked for help, and them jokers was trying to tell you the wrong plays on purpose.
Yeah.
And they was out to get you. They trying to get you promoted to fan at every point.
Absolutely.
And after that first preseason game, I put it down. That second preseason game, Vaughn put it down. And that last preseason game, I went 12 for 70 and 2 touchdowns. I was player of the game. That's what made, and the other two dudes got cut.
Yeah.
So you talking about somebody coming after your job. So they go about things, it's cutthroat.
Yeah.
And a lot of people aren't ready for that. And I've seen people, they get cut and they leave in tears and all of that type of stuff. So again, going back to how you handle these mental issues and the stress of, you got a lot of people carrying a lot of baggage. I gotta make this team because I
Yep.
got bills, or now, ain't no telling what they could do now with gambling and,
Oh yeah. And
the
people,
websites. It's crazy, man.
yeah. And like you said, people on the outside looking in, or from whatever perspective they have, whatever vantage point, they always like to say, well, I would do this. Well, you don't know what you would do. You're not in them shoes. You know what I'm saying? You don't know what you would do. And then everybody always has these, they always have these alternatives. Well, I think he should handle it like this. Well, that's a you thing. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's personal to you. Like, even when I told you a few weeks ago, like, people, when it came to AJ, like, well, he should have just kept it behind closed doors. It wouldn't have mattered. Like,
It
report would have
wouldn't have.
came out anyway.
It wouldn't have.
It wouldn't have mattered. Like, do y'all honestly, like, Jalen is probably one of the most soft-spoken, don't say nothing to the media dudes in the whole league. And they got hit pieces on him every other week during the season.
He the most
Major.
hated player in
Yeah.
the. I was like, wait a minute, time out. I have never heard that list before.
Never.
I've never heard that before. Where did this come from? Who made this up?
I don't know. They just be making up stuff now.
The most hated player. Like, why?
I don't know. He does nothing to nobody besides play football.
So, and okay, tell me everybody who voted. That's
yeah, I know.
What? So,
and that's what I'm saying.
I mean, it is
like,
what it is, bro.
And that's why I'm like, and people, because I feel like amongst the fan base, everybody loves Smitty, and I love Smitty too. I mean, how can you not love Smitty? But I'm like, I think some people allow there's this personal thing with Smitty where it's like, because he's more soft spoken and maybe he's a little bit more quiet, and I'm like, yeah, that's just how his personality is wired. But that don't make AJ wrong because he do things a different way than Smitty do. They're just different people. I mean, these are still humans at the end of the day, and I think people forget that.
That's what it comes down to. Everybody want people to do it their way. And
yeah,
like, it's not for you. It's not.
It's not.
It's
not. And I thought, like I said, we talked about it plenty of times, but I thought Philly was just a little bit tougher than that. But I guess it is what it is nowadays. But we'll see. But I just wanted to kind of chime in on that little thing real quick.
All right, brother. I appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
Have a good one, man.
Go Birds.
Everybody wants you to do it their way. Right. And I mean, the whole situation with Shador, everybody know that they coming at Shador because his daddy. Because there is a level of there is a prerequisite where it's supposed to be a prerequisite that if you are on a team, you are you trying to get the best people for the gig. You want the best person at that position to help you win games. But I know all of that kind of stuff can get skewed because sometimes teams don't do it that way. Sometimes teams are on their own agenda, tanking and all that kind of stuff. And I knew the Browns were trying to tank the minute that Shador Sanders drove them down to the goal line and they wanted to run a trick play with the tight end in a cold game that he ain't been under center, and you want to try to run a trick play with the tight end, and he ends up fumbling the snap. And I was like, that was the dumbest thing, but they wasn't trying to win. They wasn't trying to win. And I'm convinced of that. I'm convinced Stefanski was not trying to win. Why would you call something like that at that particular time? It just didn't make any sense to me. But, I mean, and I could be wrong, but I just don't think that I am. So, Jimmy Haslam, they it's a shit show, man. And Miami ain't far behind. So, you got to believe people. If you say you're going to do it, do it. And everything that AJ said he was going to do, he's done. Everything that he said he's not going to do, he hasn't done. So you can get mad if you want to, because at the end of the day, it don't matter. The thing I like about AJ Brown, he stick to his word until he shows me different. So, and he even said the same thing in the when he was talking. He said the same thing that he said after the Super Bowl. He said, you think it's going to be fulfilling, but it's not. Like, you're still left empty after winning. So he said the same thing before. And there's some realness to that, because everybody's not going to get fulfilled the same way. That folks is looking for something. And football might not necessarily give you what you're looking for. It's not going to scratch that itch. So you gotta find what it is you're looking for, or find that thing that satisfies you, or find that thing that I don't know, that speaks to you. I don't know. Look at what's his name? What was the linebacker that we had back in 2023 where we couldn't tackle worth a damn? Didn't we sign a linebacker that ended up quitting a couple weeks later because he wanted to be a carpenter or something like that? Who was that? It was one of them linebackers we signed. And it was like, oh my God. Yeah, Tiffany, the NFL stands for not for long. You know it. You know it. So, and it's a brief period of time. You look at the situation. Look at Landon Dickerson. Landon Dickerson talking about retirement because his knees are so jacked up. I played with a guy like that. I played with William Refrigerated Perry. The fridge was on our squad in 93. And this was, I don't know. I saw a thing on him. Heck, it got to be like 10, 15 years ago. And they were talking about how bad his knees were. He could barely walk. To the point where I think they said like his wife was leaving his food in the kitchen because that's the only way he would get up and move. Like, think about what that does for you mentally when you used to be one of the best of the best. I remember when the fridge happened and the 85 Bears and all of that. The fridge, as big as he is, was dunking a basketball. Like, I remember how freakishly athletic he was. And then by the time we played together with the Eagles, he was just a big kind of fat dude in the middle that couldn't nobody move him. He just took up space because they couldn't block him or move him anywhere. But just think of being one of the best, one of the most athletic people in the world, and now you can barely walk to the kitchen. What that does to you mentally. So, the game spits you out, and everybody ain't ready for that. You ever think about everybody spins it as a good story. You ever think about why what's his name? Phillip Rivers came out of retirement? Phillip Rivers had a phenomenal career. He didn't need to come out of retirement. Why did he come out of retirement? And somebody said this, and I was like, there you go. Phillip Rivers got how many daughters? How many kids he got? 10, 11 kids? And his insurance was about to run out? Whew. Now you know why he came out of retirement. But the NFL is a ruthless business, man. They don't care about you. They don't care about you. Do y'all realize that there was a guy? This is how scandalous the NFL could be. There was a kicker. I forget what his name was. He was a kicker for the Giants that was beating the hell out of his wife. And the Giants knew about it. And they still re-signed him and gave him like a $3 million contract. They knew about it. They knew it was going on, and they still re-signed him. And the only reason it all came out in the news was because she was writing everything down and made memoirs and all that kind of stuff and put it in the paper. Sent it to the I don't know what, if it was the New York Post or whoever. She sent it to somebody, and they put it in the paper. And the Giants, they were so embarrassed they had to get rid of him. And it's like, why did it have to come to that? Why did it have to come to that? Like, the NFL is a scandalous business. Scandalous business. They ruined John Gruden's career because they didn't want some of the other owners to get revealed on some of the rhetoric that they talk. When all of them letters and emails came out and all of that racist talk and the derogatory terms and stuff like that. Listen, you know how you talk when you with your people. You know how you talk when you with your family. You might talk different with your family than you do when you in the workplace. So when you see all of that stuff in the letters and all of that kind of stuff with the owner of the Redskins at the time, when you saw all of that stuff going on, they was only talking that talk because they was comfortable saying it to people they were emailing, which means they talk like that all the time. Don't get it twisted. All the time. I know the rumors, what they say and how it looks like slave trade and all of that kind of stuff. And let me be honest with you, they ain't lying. It's right. I was at the combine where they line you up. The only thing you got on is your shorts. And they do the inspection and they going down the line. That's very reminiscent of what that looks like. And they give you a test and all. It ain't no joke. It's the mind games that they play. When you spending money like that, why you think Jerry Jones is still as powerful as he is, and he ain't won a thing in 30-something years? Because he still make more money than anybody else. That's why. That's why. It's a shame that, even me not being a Cowboys fan, that the most memorable thing that Jerry Jones is going to do in the past 30 years was his appearance on Landman. When John Hamm got in the hospital and Jerry Jones came to see him in the hospital, it was him, John Hamm, and what's the dude that starred the show? I can't remember his name. And Jerry Jones came in there and gives his speech about starting the Cowboys so he could work with his daughter. And I always find it funny when people talk like that, especially on TV. And I wanted to start a business so I could be with my daughter. Well, how'd you get enough money where you can just buy a business and like do things like that? Like, it's crazy like that, how they put it out there and you don't think about it like that. Yeah, Jerry Jones sucks. I know, Jay. Tiff, Kaepernick is a big one. Kaepernick was a big one. They hated Kaepernick so much till the dude that told him to kneel had to go on TV and tell everybody, like, look, I told him to do this because that was the most respectful way I could think. He told them that, and they still didn't care because they wanted to get him out of the league. Dude had just went to the Super Bowl. If the lights hadn't gone out in that Super Bowl, maybe the 49ers win that game. I don't know. But Colin Kaepernick was that good. And all of a sudden, don't nobody want him in the league? And then, so even knowing that, and then you look at the situation with Shador, if you don't think them people can do that, you crazy. It is a good old boys network. And it's not too many periods on the page. Come on, let's keep it a buck. So I know what it is when the isms happen and all. Why you think that they always make a big deal about how is you got 70% black players or whatever that percentage is, but there ain't no black head coaches. We going right back to the Art Shell days where it's going to be one period on the page. That's it. Because at the end of the day, it's their toys, and they can do with their toys what they want. Ego. They don't care about none of these dudes. They care about how much money they can make. That's why you get, again, what's going on with Rondale Moore that he would take his life? What's going on with Kyron Lacy that he would want to take his life? What's going on with James Pierce that he would beat his girlfriend up to the point where she wants to escape and he wants to chase her in the car and ram the back of her car and run over, hit a policeman with his car? Ego. His ego is in the way. I remember when he got drafted in Rickea Jackson. I know Rickea Jackson because I followed the WNBA. And I remember seeing her when she was a junior, still at Tennessee, and he got drafted. She had one more year, and they stayed together all of that time. All of a sudden, this happened. That didn't come out the blue. Something must have happened. Was it repeat behavior, and she finally got to a point where she was fed up? I don't know. All I know is she tried to get away from the situation, and he chased and damn near killed somebody trying to prevent her from leaving. Ego, because his ego was hurt. These kids today don't know how to handle rejection. They don't know how to handle, they don't know how to critically think. They don't know how to process information. They don't know how to process pain. They don't know how to do none of that stuff. They don't know how to compartmentalize. Let me put this over here so I can still do what I got to do. They don't know how to do that. We from a different era. If you 40 or above, I grew up in the 70s. I was born in 1970. I'm 55 years old. I was brought up on hose water and freeze tag. We were built different. We know how to process stuff. We know how to deal with stuff. You know, we grew up in that wipe yourself off. You skin your knee outside playing, you bleeding. You put a Band-Aid on that shit, go on outside and play. And that's what you did. These kids these days, hell, some of these adults these days, they can't handle shit. They don't know how to handle a thing. Then you mix in all this other stuff, all these other traps, social media traps, the gambling traps, you know, NIL. And I saw what happened with Flauge's mom the other day. And I was like, what in the world? You a grown-ass adult. Why are you beefing because your daughter lost a basketball game? And now all of a sudden, I'm teaching my daughter to win at life. Didn't nobody say you weren't? But you teaching her to win at life had nothing to do with her missing them free throws on the line. That had nothing to do with that. The girl is a great player. She's still a great player, but it was her turn where she had some trouble. Everybody get a turn. And all of a sudden, now you ripping Dawn Staley and you doing why? If you raise your daughter like that, why can't she handle it on her own? It's on both sides of the coin. On both sides. We the same age, Jay? Yeah, man. I'll be 56 this year. Me and my sister. I grew up on the 70s. Yeah, man. All of that. We had the best cartoons. We had the best TV shows. We had the best music. We had the introduction to hip hop, classic hip, man. We had everything. We had classic rock. I was one of the few dudes that could rock out the Run DMC and Rush. We had it everything, man. We were built different, bro. Built different. These kids today, they can't do shit. They can't process nothing. They don't know what to do. My sister's a teacher. I hear these war stories every day. And you see it manifest in what because some of these kids still slip through the system and they make it into the league and they don't know how to handle all the success, all the money, all the traps, all the women, they don't know how to handle all of that. And they fall apart. They fall apart. Just because you got the money and act like a boss don't mean you a boss. And then a lot of times when these people get exposed, that's when they crash out. Who you talking to? I'm and the most, and you see it all the time. What's the dude? I can't stand him. I can't stand him. He one of the most successful YouTube guys out there right now. What's his name? What's the short dude, the black dude with the dreads that yells all the freaking time? What is his name? Kai Cenat. That dude irks me so bad because all he does is yell. And I was like, bro, you got your bag, man. I hope you got some sense about you. Because people like that tend to, when things don't go their way, they crash out. Because they don't know what else. It's like seeing And you know what? I never thought about it like that. But some of the stuff I see with these grown-ups and these kids is look, it reminds me of going to a store and you see that kid showing out in front of their mom, and the kid is throwing a tantrum and throwing themselves on the floor and all of that kind of stuff. The parents are trying to leave and the kid don't want to get up, so they literally dragging the kid across the floor because he don't want to walk. All of that type of stuff. And I remember looking at stuff like that, seeing stuff like that, and I was like, I could never get away with that with my parents. Never. And most of these kids act the same way. And you know what? That's another thing. I'm glad you brought that up, Function. Glad you brought that up, man. Thank you for that. Here's the problem now. I saw this with Ben Simmons. Who else? Mental health is a scapegoat now. And you can't question. Really? You got to step away from mental health? Why? You waited till all of the bad shit happened before you decided you needed to step away from mental health. Like, but you get in trouble for saying that because you can't play with it, because what if somebody really does need, need help and stuff like that. But I look at it from, would this actually be happening if things didn't go the way they went? Probably not. You wouldn't need a mental health holiday. Ben Simmons did the same thing. And I know there's been a whole bunch of other people that did the same thing. I just can't think of the names right now. But it's to the point now where they use that as an excuse. Because you could have done something and totally changed the situation weeks ago, days ago, hours ago. You could have made the situation different. The choice was made. And I like to say this a lot of times. You walked in with your eyes wide open. You knew exactly what you were doing, how to do it, when to do it, and why you did it. And you still made that choice. And then it didn't go the way you wanted it to. Now you crash out. So, but yeah, that dude irks me because all he does is yell. All he does is yell. He got all them people in his world because he paying them money. And the minute he stopped paying them money, don't nobody want to be his friend. So, let me stop ranting on Kaisa now. I done already gave him too much energy. So what's up, Jay? Listen, Jay, when I came out of Eastern Kentucky, I thought I was going to the Seahawks. The Seahawks called me the second day of the draft, said that they were going to sign me as a free agent. They wanted me to go down to the University of Cincinnati, and I was going to be there with like 3 or 4 other guys that they wanted to sign, and we were going to be free agents with the Seattle Seahawks. And I told my parents, and then 20 minutes later, Seattle called back and was like, yeah, sorry about that. We're going in a different direction. I was heartbroken. And then about an hour after that, Eagles called me, and I ended up in Philly. And the funny thing is, I had just been to Philly because I ran track in the Penn relays that year in 93, because I ran track my senior year to get ready for the combine. So I was in Philly, and that was my culture shock moment. I loved it. I had a blast. First time I had Wawa. I didn't even know what a Wawa was. One of my frat brothers who was on the track team, he was from D.C. A lot of the guys was from D.C. and Baltimore. So they knew the East Coast, the Wawa. They knew all of that stuff. So we wake up, yo, we going to Wawa to get a sandwich. Oh, no, what? Huh? Say what now? He had to tell me 3 times before I understood what he was saying. And I still didn't get it until we got there. And I was like, oh, that's the name of the store, a Wawa. I was like, what the hell is a Wawa? But that was my first experience with like a Wawa hoagie. But I remember we caught a cab ride just to go down Center City. We going down Broad Street. First time I saw the cars double parked in the middle of the street in downtown Philly. That was new to me, but I fell in love with it. Fell in love with it. And then when I signed with the Eagles, they flew me in. Um, the first news story I heard when I got to Philadelphia was they found a van on the side of the road with like 68 bullet holes or something. I remember that. Crazy stuff, man. Crazy stuff. So, um, so yeah, man, it's it all comes full circle, bro. Protect your peace of mind. Um, I look at my journey. I count it as a blessing. God don't make mistakes. Going playing overseas, ending up here, meet my wife up here, staying up here instead of going back home to Cincinnati. Like everything works the way it's supposed to work. Ain't no mistakes. So um I hope that AJ Brown's conversation touched somebody enough so they will seek help and try to get things fixed. You know what I'm saying? Get the help that they need so they can, hey, make it another day. Make it through another day. So um yeah, Reggie White. Um my my rookie Reggie White was already gone. He was still alive, but I remember my rookie year. That was Jerome Brown. Jerome Brown had just passed away the year before, and that was still heavy. That was still heavy in the locker room. That was still very heavy in the locker room. So, hey, God is good, man. God is good. I gotta say, when I was 17, bro, I was about to go to college. We grew up in I'm from Cincinnati. My dad moved us to Cleveland. We lived in Cleveland for like 8 months. My dad worked for Ford Motor Company. He was a salesman. He sold automotive glass for Ford. He didn't like build cars or anything like that, but he was getting promotions. They sent us. We from Cincinnati, born and raised. Then we went to Cleveland for 8 months. We lived in Aurora, Ohio, which is a suburb of Cleveland. We stayed there for 8 months. Then we moved again to St. Louis, Missouri, from 1978 to 1984. And then in 84, my dad got another promotion. And he asked us, where do you want to go? I can either go to Seattle or we can either go back to Cincinnati. And me and my twin sister was like, we want to go home. So we moved back to Cincinnati. And then went back to high school, graduated. And when I graduated, before I went to college, we went, because when we lived in St. Louis, that's when we started going to church as a family. First Baptist Church Chesterfield, shout out. I told my dad I wanted to get baptized before I went to college. We drove back to Chesterfield, Missouri. And I got baptized in St. Louis before we went to college. So yeah, man. God is good all the time, bro. That was the Mafia war. Yeah, man. For sure. For sure. So crazy stuff, man. Just like even the stuff that I'm doing now, even looking back on the CTE stuff, two guys that I played with, Wes Hopkins, Andre Waters. I played with those guys. Both of them guys are gone. You know, it's sober. It's sober. Glad I still got, I got some marbles loose, but they still up there. You in Texas? You was the lone eagle. Must have been tough. I gotta get my boy on here. I gotta call him, man. I gotta get my boy Willie T. I'm still me and Willie T. Willie T was the first, I would say, friend I had when I made the Eagles. Because me and T, very similar. We both were nerds into computers and games and stuff like that. So me and him automatically clicked. Started playing golf together. So I'm gonna have to he's been on here before. I ain't had a chance to talk to him in a while. So I'm gonna have to get him back on the cast, man. I gotta get some people. Damn it. I was supposed to reach out to Barrett Brooks to see if I could get him on Wednesday. because it's combine day. It's combine time, so we got to start looking at that. So by Wednesday, combine's gonna be hot and heavy, so we definitely be talking about that. Man. So, but listen, man, I'm gonna get up out of here, man. I hope, I don't know, hope somebody gets something out of this conversation, man. AJ Brown, always a fan. Um, AJ Brown, if you're listening, bro, if you ever want to come on the podcast, bro, we always open. Like what I did there. See that? Yeah, Willie T. That's my boy, man. That's my partner. One of my best friends to this day, bro. Yeah, so hope somebody got something for it. We had to like having these conversations. We're gonna keep doing it, man. So I'm gonna get up on out of here. Carlos, if you still listening, man, the ice cream Snickers were in the building this week. So so yeah, man, I'm gonna get up out of here. I'll be back on Wednesday. Also, my new channel is called Coach Marcus Games. I'm getting ready to play this game called Marathon. I was a big Destiny fan a couple years ago, and Bungie, the same company, just created this game Marathon. I was like, let me try it out. So I'm gonna do some gaming. If anybody games and wants to jump in, run that marathon with me, let's do it. My Pro Fan Hoops is going strong. And for those of you who didn't know, wasn't paying attention, I got my first viral video the other day covering the Olympics. I was covering, y'all know, I was covering a lot of curling. When they slide the big rocks on the ice, I was covering curling, and I did a video and it blew up. I got a video that's now sitting at almost 160,000 views or something like that. So for me, that's the biggest video. That's the best video I've ever done. So I was kind of proud of that. And of course, yesterday with the American men winning the hockey game, that was exciting. That was fun to watch. And then of course, then we get hit with a blizzard. So, and now we're here. So, but all right, I'm gonna get up out of here, man. Yes, Willie T. Amarillo, absolutely. I'm gonna get up out of here. Y'all had a good night. I appreciate y'all. Appreciate the conversation. Appreciate everybody in the chat. Tiffany, Chris 3K, Jay Scroggins. Don't be a stranger. Eagles Girl 1117. Hey, do me a favor. When y'all come back on Wednesday night at 10 p.m., do me a favor. Bring a friend, please and thank you. I'm out of here, man. I will talk to y'all later. Peace. I appreciate you. God loves you. And as usual, go Birds.